Hey guys, it's your boy Wolfie. Now, 9.4 is coming out. We got a new god coming out with it, and you know the deal. I'm going to give my opinion and give you the rundown on the god. Let's get right into it. First of all, let's look at his skills. First of all, his passive, Master of the Tao, Yu-Huang, attunes himself to the Tao, giving his basic attacks and abilities additional effects. He gains a stack of Tao every 15 seconds. He may also gain a stack by hitting an enemy after not taking or dealing damage for 3 seconds. Once he has 6 or more stacks, Yu Huang becomes attuned, allowing his basic attacks to chain to one additional enemy. So Huang has this passive now, right here, right? And as it fills up, once you get to 6, you get a chain lightning effect. Well, when you auto attack, instead of it hitting one person, it hits multiple people. So learning how to manage your meter so you not only get the most amount of damage from your abilities is also going to be nice because it's going to give you more damage on your auto attacks. This is kind of nuts in my opinion, but like I like it. It's cool. It's different. It's unique. I like these little meter passives. They're usually my favorite ones, so I'm down. Mind you, this doesn't just build up for everything you do. Some of your abilities are gonna charge down, but for the most part, like I said, every 15 seconds you'll get one, and every time you hit a god after not being in combat for a while, you will get one also. You also have an ability that builds down. So let's go into the abilities now, right? So you got your one, which is basically Yu Huang conjures 4 cinders of the phoenix spread. All right, you know what it is? It's a giant AoE circle. The flames persist for 3 seconds. They explode in the center. So what do we have here? We have cinder damage, initial damage, burn duration, and protection reduction. Fantastic. So the way this works is if they explode in the field of flames that persist for 3 seconds, burning enemies inside Yu Huang. If Yu Huang is attuned, when the cinders explode, enemies in that area have. So if you have Tao, it'll reduce their protections. But as you can see, it looks pretty hard to land. It seems like there is a circle and then an X. So there's multiple forms of damage. So if you don't hit him with the X, it only hits him for the burn damage and the initial damage. But if you do hit him with the X, it hits for an extra 37 damage. So it's actually not that important to hit them in the center, but it's extra damage, which is nice, which gives it a little flair, a little bit more fun. It's player engagement. I'm down. It's good to know that the main section of the ability isn't the center. Now we have his 2, which is a weird line nuke that hits twice. Yu Huang begins cultivating his Tao before firing a projectile that damages and slows enemies it passes through. As it travels, it leaves behind a trail and explodes, damaging and rooting all enemies. This ability can be fired early, 60% of its damage, gaining additional damage up to additional damage up to 1 second. Oh, okay. Yu Huang can also continue charging up to 3 seconds to earn more Tao. So here's how this ability works. All right. First of all, you're charging your laser, and the longer you hold it, it will charge your Tao up to 6 charges. When you fire it, it shoots a line that hits and then roots and does damage again. So we can look at it real quick. Let's get this moving enemy, right? Fully charged. You can visually see when it's fully charged. Line nuke, then a root, right? What it is saying is you can fire it instantly to get the max damage. Well, to get 60% of its damage if you fire it early. But I'm pretty sure it's also saying that if you shoot it after a second, you get the full damage. If you shoot it before a second, you won't get the full damage. But if you shoot it as a full second, you will. So let's fully charge it real quick. Look at the damage, 99, 176. Let's shoot it before 1 second, 60, 105. Let's do it at a second. So it's looking like the line turns orange when you get the full damage. So you don't have to hold it for the max duration of the skill, if that's what you were wondering. That's what I thought when I saw the God Spotlight, but Apparently, you only have to hold it for a second if you want to get the full damage. That's a lot better than I thought it was. Fantastic ability. I actually like it. It's kind of unique. It's a line nuke, but it's an interesting take on a line nuke, so I'm not mad that it is. But so far, this character definitely follows the same tropes as every other character. It's got this little AoE nuke that also has some sort of protection or whatever. You got your line nuke. It has a root on top of it. Okay, we got our standard abilities. He might be a good mage. Let's check out his 3. Let's look at his escape. So he has a weird escape. Okay, I'm going to describe it instead of reading it, right? So basically, it's an escape that does damage. It's kind of like Chang'atu, but you're not immune. So just by looking at it at what it does, you press 3, you go up in the air. You can move while doing this. Now, you're sort of Freya banishing yourself, but you're able to move. And you also have a move speed increase. The nice benefit about this is that when you land, you not only do damage, but you will knock people back if you don't land fast. So if I just land normal, it should knock this guy back. There you go. So it's not only an escape, it also does damage. And when you land, it knocks people up. That is nuts, but it's also a very unique take on an escape. It's basically a jump that doesn't go over walls, but it goes over player-made walls. It ignores unit collision, and it does damage and knocks back. This is a solid new version of an escape, and I kind of like it. My only problem is how long he stays in the air and how good that's going to be for him in team fights. That being said, he's not immune to damage, so if you have a detonator on him, you have a Yu-Huang on your team, if you have some bleed damage on him, he's probably still going to die in the air. He's just CC immune, so that means that a Wheelix can't pull him off. That means that the moment he goes in the air, you need to be careful because he will knock you up and do damage on the way down. So you don't want to stay on him too hard. That being said, you can also cancel this early for sacrificing your knock-up. But that means you can use it for damage because technically you can do this and just bam. You know what I mean? Like you can pop all your damage if you need the extra burst damage. It's a thing. It's not only an escape. It's kind of really good. I want to use it. It might be one of the better escapes from middle because of how long you stay in the air. Kudos. I mean, it's another escape, which I don't think the game needs. But at least it's different. So like this so far, the Jade Emperor has done what I normally usually see high-res do. They take the standard formula that works with gods and they kind of add a little flair for each individual one. And I think that the Jade Emperor so far has really unique ones. And the most unique one so far is his ultimate. So his ultimate is really weird. And I'm just going to read it off for you. I think it's better than just... So his ultimate is Dueling Dragons. Yu-Huang manifests a huge surge of dragon-shaped energy, becoming CC immune, and summoning the Pearl Dragon oppose him. Opposite side to him. Basically, it's going against them because they're going to clash. He has 3 seconds to aim his dragon of energy towards the Pearl Dragon, who will charge directly at it. Both dragons will damage and push enemies caught in the blast. If the dragons collide, a damage explosion occurs in the area. If Yu-Huang is attuned, the width of the dragons is increased by 50%. Okay, so let's get our stuff up. So let me explain this. First off, you have multiple targeters. First targeter, on normal casting, you will press it. When you have Dao, it becomes a much bigger hitbox and much easier to land. To land it, you have to press the button, it spawns the dragon on the other side, and you have 3 seconds to aim it. You want to get it into that circle so it explodes also. Both sides of those dragons are going to push the entire enemy team that's there, exactly like, Charybdis ult, where it'll push them out, the explosion happen, they'll blow up. They can also be on the opposite side, and it will push them also. So if you see somebody on the opposite side of the dragon, where the other dragon is, you can push them towards the center by positioning this correctly. This is where it gets a little confusing though, because I'm quick casting, the dragon spawns the moment you let go of the button. But you still have to left click. You can't just quick fire it. This might be a problem with the character, that he won't be able to get his ult off as fast as other characters, be a problem. And for insta casting, it's the same thing. You press the button and then you have to left click again to get it off. That's how that works. And if you cancel it, it goes on cooldown. Just to give you guys a heads up on how it works. Now to talk about some of the things that are bothering me about this ability. It's not the size of it. I think the size of it is fine, because when you do have Dow, it is pretty big, right? It's pretty massive when you have Dow, right? Here is where my problem comes from. As you can see, it's a pretty long line nuke, but you have to pre-fire where you want to put it. And then if you try to walk up, you can't put it behind or anything. You can't really aim where you want the other dragon to go. It's really restrictive. Understand that when you place the dragon here, you have just these areas to match up. And if you don't hit them over here, you're not getting a double dragon, because you can't make the reticle go behind the other dragon unless you walk past it. And it's really constrictive. It's a cool new targeter. It's interesting. It's different than anything else I've seen in the game in terms of like the full concept of it. But I don't know if the technology exists in the game to make this ult feel really smooth. It looks really cool and it's really interesting, and I'm totally down to use it. But I got a feeling it's going to be a major point of contention for me and how the character feels, especially in team fights. And I have a fear that he's going to fall into the same situation as Yanis, as people saying that he might be too risky to play because he's not reliable. I'm going to give him a couple of testing games. I'm going to see how it works. All in all, he just has a solid kit, and I think he's going to be viable no matter what. I think the only time this character is going to be not viable is when his damage numbers are just not high enough to do what is needed of mages in that meta. He has protection shred with burn damage, which is really nice. He has a root, which is really nice. It's also a slow. He has massive base damage. He has a great escape. This is basically like a very fast soul without being completely immune. This is really nice. It's really good. It means he can get over player-made walls. It means he can get away from a Wheelix for free. This is a really nice ability. It's really awesome. So just off this, I think he's going to be viable. The fact that this does damage on top of it is nuts to me. I think that the players who are really good are going to be able to make use of this. And they're going to do some crazy stuff because we've seen it in Ho Yi. I think this character is going to be a very difficult character. And be forewarned, it might perform bad for you and other people when it first comes out. It seems like he has pretty small hitboxes. It seems like he has a pretty intricate design. And I think people are going to have to get used to his timings, his abilities, and how to make everything second nature for him, or learn all the little tips and tricks of the character. Yeah, that's just my opinion on it. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's absolutely nuts. But I think you're going to be able to play him no matter what. And if he is nuts, it's because of how safe Celestial Flight is. It is literally a mini New Wild, isn't it? Yeah, it's he is going to be as good as Celestial Flight is, most likely, because his other abilities look fantastic. Just damage, all high base damage too. This is level 1 is 100 damage. Level 1 is over 100 damage. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lot of damage. All this is really high. Base damage of 360. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage, bro. and protection shred, this character is going to be wild. We'll see how it turns out. Anyway, hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you guys think about the god. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm going to record some more video of him being played in game if you want to see those later today. But thank y'all very much for watching. Y'all are awesome. Deuces.